The Glenn Gulutzan era got off to a high-flying start. Then it got really rocky and shaky, but they got the job done and stuck to the script. The Dallas Stars like to keep things interesting. Let's break down a 5-4 victory in Winnipeg.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome to a Friday edition of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Everybody with me now, a deep inhale and exhale. The Stars got it done on opening night. They hang on in Winnipeg by a final score of 5-4. Man, I don't even really know how to feel about this one, but a win is a win, especially against a division opponent. We're going to talk about that. Glenn Gulutzan's performance, or I guess his execution with this hockey team. I think his influence certainly showed. So we'll touch on some of that. And of course, just able to stave off almost monumental collapse. They were able to get it done. And that's where we're going to kind of kick things off on today's show. And I don't want this point to get lost, or don't allow this to get lost in the final 10 minutes of the hockey game, because I think this is my main takeaway from tonight. The Dallas Stars went on the road in a building where the Jets lost 7 games in regulation last year, and like single-handedly bullied the Jets for 50 minutes. And they were up 5-1 at one point. And good teams do not have third periods. Great teams do not have third periods like the Stars did, especially the final 10 minutes. But to do what they did on the road, and I know it's opening night, but they were pretty crisp. They were clean for the most part. And again, just bullied the Jets for 50 minutes, especially the opening moments of the third period, and took them by the throat and went up. Unfortunately, it went off the rails, giving up a couple of shorthanded goals. But what we saw in that first 50 minutes is a great blueprint that I think the Stars can repeat night in and night out. Hopefully the collapse is just, we can chalk it up to opening night, a bit sloppy. And it's hard to just stay on the throat, so to speak, of teams when you're up 5-1. You get a bit lackadaisical, and credit to Winnipeg. They stayed in the game. They're going to show some pride, especially on home ice. They didn't want to just get ran out of the building, and they made things interesting. But the Stars buckled down, and when it mattered most, they got a huge kill after the Thomas Harley delay of game penalty. It was unraveling, and they buckled down. Ottinger got a couple of big stops, and they were able to finish the job. And again, that's 2 points on the road against a very good team. And I just loved what we saw out of Dallas in the first 50 minutes. The puck possession game, for the most part, the defensive zone structure was really good outside of just leaving Kyle Connor wide open in the first period. What we wanted to see from Dallas, we got the majority of it. You saw Rantanen and just how incredible he is. This show's going to turn into Locked On Rantanen. Once again, an incredible night. 3 points, scores the first goal. Jason Robertson, man, he moved better tonight than I think he moved at any point last season. He was playing rough and tough, and for the most part, the Stars were. My goodness, they were just heavy. They played a physical brand. Gulutzan talked about that all offseason, and that is a huge positive right off the bat to see what we saw. And I think you saw that hand-to-hand combat phrase Gulutzan used quite a bit. Like, they just went after Winnipeg, and they did not shy away. I mean, Justin Ritzkovian's going after Mark Scheifele, and Bischel is just hitting everything in sight. He is just tossing Nemestikov away. Man, I'm thinking about Bichel. God, I would hate to play that guy. He is just a bruiser. And Rantanen was all up inside of the heads of the Jets in the first two periods. Oh, my goodness. He has a couple lake houses in Manitoba. He is living rent-free. He was just playing such a dog hard game. And he was remarkable. Of course, I think Hintz had a really strong, I mean, we saw a lot of great things in those 50 minutes, and I don't want that to get lost because of the really bitter ending to this. But at the same time, they still buckled down. I mean, they got 2 points on the road. I mean, Rantanen gets 3 points. Lundkvist with a couple of points. He was excellent in the game. Some of the stuff we talked about, some of my bold predictions, I feel like came true a bit. Sam Steele looked really comfortable. Is Sam Steele a top-line winger? No, but with the injuries the Stars have in a pinch, he's really good. He's a good option. And Rantanen starts the play that he eventually scores on that game's first goal by winning a puck battle down beneath the end line. Steele, great work, spins away from Scheifele. He's able to work the pass across to Hintz. They get it on net, rebound, slam dunk for Rantanen. Steele looked really good. They moved the lines around. Gulutzan is going to shuffle them. We're just going to have to sort of roll with the punches on the line combinations. When the penalties started to fly in the second period, we saw a lot of different bodies together. Robertson was with Johnston and Duchesne at points. He was also with Johnston and Bork. We saw a lot of different combinations, which we'll get to as the show goes along. But for the most part, again, to reiterate it, that's 50 minutes of road hockey that Gulutzan has been preaching for months. And the Stars executed it for 50 minutes on the road in a tough building. And yes, I may not be as high on Winnipeg as some others, but Hellebuck looked really solid and looked like a Vezina winning goaltender in the second period when the Stars were really tilting the ice. They outshot Winnipeg 17-7 in the second period, like just all over Winnipeg, and Hellebuck was keeping them in the contest. And then boom, the floodgates open in the third period for Dallas. They go out, they score 3. I think that's a great sign too. They have that 5-on-3, the lengthy 5-on-3 to begin the third period. Like, you have to convert on that. And they got the job done. Simple stuff. They work it in front. Robo cleans it up for his first goal of the year. Like, that's great to see. And going back to last year, the Stars power play really killed them early in the season when they had opportunities to maybe stay in games or to put games away. They couldn't get that goal. And tonight they got that goal. And I guess it doesn't serve as the game winner. But again, they win by 1 tonight. And that was a big tally at the time, because it was still within reach for Winnipeg. I guess it still was, based off how the game ended. But I mean, they quieted that building. I mean, 3 goals in the opening 3.5 minutes. Like, that's really good stuff. And I think that first 50 minutes of what we saw to Dallas can be replicated. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from tonight that you have to take out of this. Final 10 minutes is awful. They can't allow that to happen. But going on the road and just outworking Winnipeg. I mean, they were globetrottering in the offensive zone at one point. And some of that too is like, don't play with your food. Like, they gave up 2 shorthanded goals. Like, stop messing around. Like, just bury the team. And when you get to that point, why are you pressuring or why are you so intact? Like, they had the 4-on-3, and there's 4 guys below the tops of the circles. I mean, you're up by 4, but let's have somebody back. Let's be careful. You're not looking for offense at that point. You're up 5-1. You should cruise to a victory. Of course, that's not how it turned out. But what a thrilling game. And again, the Stars stick to the script. They just love to make things interesting. It don't matter. It don't matter how much they get up. For whatever reason, they find a way to let teams back in, and it's exhausting. And they gave the Metroplex a giant heart attack, but it's 2 points, and the Stars move on. Let's talk about this Glenn Gulutzan era a bit more. It's off and running, what we saw, what we liked, because I did want to highlight some more individual plays and stuff as well by certain individuals who were excellent tonight. So we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. FanDuel allows you to play however you like to play. You can build parlays, try player props, even follow the live lines during the games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've just got a little something riding on the action, whether you're just a casual fan, maybe you like looking up the stats, maybe you're just watching the Dallas Cowboys like I am, enjoying a Sunday off and watching the Sunday slate. Sprinkle a little money on your favorite team, sprinkle a little money on a player prop, and enjoy the action with FanDuel. So what are you waiting for, Stars fans? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Glenn Gulutzan probably grew 1,000 gray hairs in the final 10 minutes of regulation tonight, but he picks up a great Central Division Road victory to the tune of his club. They outshot Winnipeg in the game 37-25. They won 52% of the draws. They went 1 for 5 on the power play. They were out hit 33-21. They blocked 18 shots, only 9 giveaways. Winnipeg had 22 on the night. That was something that was really highlighted tonight. Just the Stars' puck possession in the offensive zone. They hang on to pucks. They make smart plays. They make simple plays. And as I said, the Stars were just running rampant in the offensive zone, especially early in that third period. They could really do whatever they wanted. And I think that comes too from wearing down Winnipeg in the first, 2 periods. The first 2 periods were really tightly contested, game. It was, I think, a really strong opening night. You would have thought it was maybe game 20 rather than game 1. And then obviously the third period was a bit helter-skelter, but just the Stars' ability to make plays. Look at the Rantanen goal to kick things off by, winning possession on the forecheck. Then they work it low to high, and then boom, they work it back out in front. Rantanen is there. And then Rantanen makes an incredible play on the second goal for Dallas. He just absolutely shrugs off the contact from a forechecker on the entry, shields the puck away. Lundkvist kind of finds that little soft spot in the high slot. Man, he was phenomenal tonight. That was just so great to see out of Lundkvist after that season-ending injury a year ago. And I mean, that is a goal scorer shot. I mean, he snipes Hellebuck from the top of the slot, goes against the grain to beating glove side. He graded out as the best Star on the night via Hockey Stat Cards. I love bringing up this 4.56 game score, had a goal and an assist in the game. He just was so steady. Defensively too, made some really strong plays. There was a play in the second period he made, sort of tracking back. He had to shield off a couple of oncoming forecheckers, and then the Stars were able to work it up the ice, which led to a scoring chance for Tyler Seguin. Those are the little plays that we saw last year where he really grew when it came to holding on to pucks when forecheckers are on his tail, and he's able to make plays up the ice. And the Stars did that really, really well for the majority of tonight's game. They were able to get out of their own zone, and they were able to hang on to pucks in the offensive zone. The Duchesne spinorama goal to Seguin was just chef's kiss. That was just tasty. Duchesne's just toying with him there. Like, thanks for coming. He flies by. Seguin goes to the back door. Bada bing, bada boom. It was 4-1 Dallas at the time. But Nils Lundkvist, Oh, he looked like a top four defenseman. And one of my predictions for the year, he gets double digits in goals. I think playing next to Harley, teams are going to be really worried about 55. That's going to allow Lundkvist to have a little less pressure. And that was just a great play by him, just to get into that little soft area. Like, it's a great play on Mikko. Of course, he makes it, shrugging off the forechecker, and then Lundkvist just needs to fill a lane, and he finds him, and he just rips it in the back of the net. He was great. I do want to share some love to Maverick Bourque too. He didn't stuff the stat sheet tonight. He didn't pick up a point in the game, but on the penalty kill, I believe it was in the first period. It could be wrong. Could have been the second, but he made 2 goal-saving plays on the PK. One, he gets a stick in the lane. The second, there's a centering pass. I believe it's to Velarde. Bourque has to step down. Miro goes to the guy behind the goal. It gets fed out in front, so Bourque had to step in to fill, and he lifts the stick of Velarde to break up that scoring chance. So those are the type of plays like young players have to make. And maybe he doesn't make that a year ago. Maybe that's a play he doesn't make. But this year he was right on top of it, made a really strong defensive play. I mean, the Stars PK picked up right where they left off. They go 4-4 tonight. And none bigger than the one, of course, in the final 3 minutes of regulation. But they used a ton of different bodies. It was good to see Miro killing some penalties. Miro played 27 minutes on the night. That was by far the most. Harley played 21:52. So I think that's sort of a message from Gulutzan. Like, he's going to lean on number 4. And Miro wasn't great tonight. He had the trip. He fell, which led to Connor's hat-trick goal. I just thought he's kind of easing himself into the season a bit. But you can obviously tell the world of difference when he's on the ice. You can look at the shots for 19 shots when he's on the ice, the most of any other player in the contest. The Stars are just a better team, and we know that, of course. But some individual scoring chances, like when Miro's on the ice, 20 scoring chances for, that's the most. The big boys showed up too, like Ranton and Robo, again, to sort of hammer the point home about Robo. It's one of the best games I've seen from him in a while. I think he was moving better than he ever did last year. I think it's going to be a massive year for Robertson. And just to see the crispness out of Dallas was really nice to see. Defensively, like the defensive zone structure, you can see that they're working on it. It's going to be a work in progress. Just look at the first Connor goal. I think that was, if I had to guess, I think that was maybe Hentz's man. I think it was Hentz because he was the first forward back. It was really awkward since Miro was essentially back checking. And then when the puck got moved down to Scheifele, Miro had to go out to Scheifele. And then Connor was left all alone. I would assume that's probably Hentz's man. It maybe Steele's. I guess it doesn't really matter whose man it is. Someone has to stay with him and mark him because he's just all alone, and he double clutches and beats him. But I think what we saw in the final couple minutes too of the game too, I think is exactly what the Stars are looking for, and I would imagine Gulutzan sort of wants. Winnipeg's working around the perimeter. Stars did a good job staying in shooting lanes, and they were forcing shots from outside the tops of the circles. Otter came up with some big saves, no rebounds, right? He gobbled up a couple of those shots, and they kept Winnipeg to the outside. There's a lot more pressure on the Stars wingers, and I think more importantly, probably the centers to do a bit more work in the defensive zone than I would say under DeBoer. Because from my perspective, it seems like he wants the defenseman to sort of just kind of anchor down towards the edges of the crease, or just kind of anchor down in that general vicinity to kind of clean up some of the mess in front. And early on, the Stars did give up some looks in the slot area. That's something they have to be able to shut down. They didn't really pay for it tonight, but they're asking a lot out, I think, like your Johnstons, your Hents to pressure guys on the outside and allow, I think, their defensemen just to kind of stay more centrally located and keep things to the outside rather than trying to attack and kill plays like they have over the last couple of years. And I think we got a good taste of that in the final, couple minutes of the game where they were just hanging on for dear life. But I mean, just a lot of positive stuff. I thought Bork was great. I mean, Johnston we didn't even get to Johnson. There's so many good things out of so many different individuals. I can't get over Ranson. That he may be the best value in the league at $12 million. Well, let's add Kyle Connor to that now too, who just signed a long-term deal. Just really incredible nights from some of the big boys on both teams. And don't forget Lundkvist. Kind of started off the segment with that, man. What a strong game. And I think Jim Nill has to be grinning in ear to ear. It's been a while. He gave up a first round pick for him, but it may be starting to come to fruition now under Gulutzan. Let's touch on the road hockey sort of term and phrase a bit too, as we sort of celebrate this opening night victory. We can touch on the collapse that just fell short, I suppose, a bit as well. We'll do that in just a moment. Some other numbers from the game, in case you're interested. Time on ice numbers. So Johnson played the most. I know there's some discussions about Johnston, Robo being on the third line with Borg, but I wouldn't look into where the lines are sort of labeled, just because like the Stars' best players are gonna play more. In Johnston, yeah, maybe on the third line, but he played the most of any forward, mainly because he can touch the game in all areas. Right, he's on the penalty kill. He ended up playing just over 2 minutes on the PK. Steele played the most, like he did a year ago. Accumulated the most shorthanded minutes. He played 331. But Johnson played the most of any other forward. He's the only forward to eclipse the 20-minute mark. Rope played 19 and a half. Rantanen was just below that. So there was a pretty steady distribution. Of course, there was a lot of power plays in the game. There was a total of 9. So the minutes probably were not distributed ideally how Gulutzan wants to see it. Bastian played 740. Ritskovian played 840. Would have liked to see a bit more of Ritskovian. Again, I wouldn't take too much stock in a game like this just because of the special teams. I think Ritskovian would play a bit more if the game was played more at 5-on-5. So the game sort of dictated how minutes had to be distributed. But for a few of the shifts he had, I thought he looked pretty strong. I mentioned that he went after Scheifele. I'd love to see that. That's a young guy that's trying to earn some respect from his teammates and going after him. The fourth line, I think, was as advertised. Heavy on the forecheck. They were banging bodies. Bastian, he made a couple of really strong plays in the first period in the defensive zone. I was a bit. He perked my ears a couple of times with some of the plays he made in the game. And just for the most part, the Stars were as advertised. And I think it goes back to Gulutzan coming into the season, speaking out all summer. This is what we're going to be. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to execute it. And that first 50 minutes was a really, really strong performance. That's a great first impression from Gulutzan. On what the Stars can be capable of. And it's hard to just play a full 60 minutes in the NHL. Winnipeg's a really damn good team. And they're not going to just lay over, right? They're not going to lay down and roll over. And it can be hard to just continue to batter teams for 60 minutes. And I said that first 2 periods, the third period kind of changes our perspective on everything. But that was a really just strong, fun, solid hockey game. And I thought this feels like almost mid-season rather than opening night. And then third period, I think some of the sloppiness certainly showed. But you can go down to the box score. I mean, look at some of the nights some of these individuals had. Of course, we mentioned Rantanen with the 3 points. How many shots did he end up with? He ended up with 3 shots. Robertson had 8 alone. He had 8 shots. Hintz had 7. Sagan 5. Rantanen 3. Like those are the guys you want getting shots too. Like those numbers are really, really positive. And then on the back end, like Heiskanen had 4 shots. He was a -2 on the night. Unfortunately, Lundkvist was active. I mean, goal assist for him. Hardly with 2 helpers. He had 5 blocks as well. And like that's just a really solid night from the Stars, and they did a lot of great things. But again, that sort of that road hockey mentality, this is exactly what we saw from Dallas going into a tough building, and they weathered the storm a bit early. Otter made some nice stops, and they get their opportunities to score. They convert. Hellebuck was excellent, and then Stars get on the power play as Winnipeg gets in penalty trouble, and they make him pay for it. But Dallas made him pay. You would have liked to chip in a bit more, like 1 for 5. You would have liked it to be maybe 2 for 5. But beggars can't be choosers at this point. Like that was a massive goal at that juncture of the hockey game, and you're going to need a lot of goals like that as the season wears along. So just really, I think a phenomenal first impression from Gulutzan, and this is what we had hoped to see. Sort of goes back to the first segment, right? Like that can be replicated. Like Dallas is strong enough to do that, and that's without a Jamie Benn. And I had some concerns about the Stars without him because, as I've stated a couple times, they don't always look the same when Jamie's out. He's not out very much, but when he is, Stars don't look terrible. They look really awesome. You're going to have some people thinking, start saying that Jamie Benn shouldn't even come back in the lineup after what we saw tonight. But let's not kid ourselves. Jamie Benn can help this team. Maybe if they did have their captain on the bench, maybe that third period doesn't happen. Like I'm playing hypotheticals at this point, but they have someone reiterating, "Hey boys, stay with it. let's keep going. Let's not take the foot off the gas." Maybe that doesn't happen. But man, those 2 shorthanded goals, it just can't happen, right? Like that has to be shut down. And some of that I think is just a bit complacent from the Stars power play, just thinking, like we're up 5-1, whatever. And maybe they're getting a bit overzealous. And Winnipeg is going to be aggressive. Like they have to get back in the game. It's 5-1. And they're going to have to try to score shorthanded if they want to get back in the game. And they did twice. So that just can't happen. And Gulutzan is not going to be happy about that. I'm sure. And we're going to hear about that in the post-game press conference. But all in all, like that's just a solid 50-minute hockey game from the Stars on the road. And I am over the moon about what we saw from the Stars tonight. I think that sort of exceeded my expectations, and I think that's good. The Stars are off and running. They're 1-0. They got 2 points in the bank, and then they got Colorado tomorrow, which is going to be fascinating. They can't do what they did the final 2 minutes or final 10 against Colorado, because that's probably the deepest team in the Central Division. And it's another great test. Stars passed one of them, but really, really great stuff all around. I know I keep sort of hammering that point home, but hey, I'm happy with it. A bit mind-boggled after the shorthanded goals and just the butt clenching segment of the game. But I think we're Stars fans here. We've gotten used to that. That's the last decade of hockey for the Stars. So but that's going to do it for today's episode. Great to be back breaking down games, meaningful hockey games once again. Appreciate all of you for tuning in on today's episode, making us a part of your day. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. For those of you that are new, or if you've been watching for a while, haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Drop your comments below. Just give me your overall thoughts on the game, Glenn Gulutzan, and all that stuff. And we'll continue to march along. Have a great weekend, Stars fans. I'll probably get an episode out on Sunday. I'll be working this weekend. Probably get an episode out on Sunday, hopefully. Kind of breaking down the Avs game. We'll see how the weekend sort of shakes out. But have a great weekend, Stars fans, and we'll see you on the next episode of Locked On Stars. So long.